What if a single tweet, just 3 words, was enough to put a rapper's life in danger? What started as "leave the streets behind" has now turned into a silent war involving real gangs, real money, and real consequences. Two artists with actual street power are no longer trading lyrics. They're trading disrespect, alliances, and coded threats in plain sight. One flip-flopped between "F the streets" and "I am the streets." The other responded with one word that shook everything: traumatized. And now industry insiders are whispering the same warning: this beef won't end online. Stay till the end, because what you're about to hear might explain how hip-hop arguments turn into real-world bloodshed. To understand how things reached this point, we have to rewind to the moment 21 Savage posted his now viral message about stepping away from the streets, a post that sent shockwaves through the rap community. At the time, 21 Savage was in full promo mode for his latest album when he shared those 3 words that sparked a much larger conversation. But this wasn't just a random thought shared online. Many believe there was a calculated business angle behind it. The Atlanta rapper appeared to be encouraging unity among the city's major artists, subtly pushing for unresolved issues to be settled, particularly tensions surrounding the Young Thug and Gunna situation that had divided the scene. Here's where things started raising eyebrows. Some of the same labels, media voices, and industry figures that had previously distanced themselves from Gunna were suddenly open to working with him again. The reason, according to industry talk, was simple: the numbers. He was performing well independently, pulling strong streams, and success tends to change opinions quickly. 21 Savage seemed fully aware of how this tweet positioned him as a mediator, a voice of maturity, and someone pushing growth, all while keeping attention on his album rollout. It was a strategic move, framed as wisdom, and it worked. Everyone was talking. That's when Pooh Shiesty appeared to echo the sentiment. The Memphis rapper posted on his Instagram story with a similar message about stepping away from the streets. For fans familiar with his background, this was surprising. His image and music had long been tied to Memphis street culture, a city often highlighted for its serious crime issues. Whether exaggerated online or not, his reputation was built around authenticity and lived experience. So when he shared a message suggesting distance from that life, it felt confusing to supporters and sparked heavy discussion. It felt like a sharp turn from the persona people knew. But Blueface wasn't buying it. The California rapper quickly spoke out, calling out what he saw as trend-following behavior. On social media, he criticized artists for suddenly changing their stance, suggesting they were being inconsistent or performative.
I think you should just stay in your place, brother. You shouldn't even speak on that type of lifestyle because you're not living that type of lifestyle.
Blueface's argument was straightforward. He believed many of the same artists now talking about leaving the streets were the ones who built their entire careers using that image. From his perspective, the sudden shift looked forced and unconvincing. He openly questioned how someone could spend years promoting street credibility, then quickly reverse course once the narrative changed. To him, it felt like people were repeating what sounded good without thinking about how it landed with their core supporters. At first, Pooh Shiesty didn't respond. He stayed quiet, continued posting normally, and didn't directly address the criticism. But for people watching closely, signs of tension were there. Soon after, Pooh Shiesty began posting clips of himself gaming online with NLE Choppa. To casual viewers, it looked harmless, but fans familiar with rap history know that NLE Choppa and Blueface have long-standing issues that go beyond music disagreements. Their tension has been discussed for years and is often framed as personal and territorial, not just artistic. So when Pooh Shiesty publicly associated with NLE Choppa, many interpreted it as a subtle signal. In street-adjacent culture, who you associate with matters. Without saying anything directly, Pooh Shiesty appeared to be showing where he stood. To Blueface, the message was clear. These weren't just friendly gaming clips, they were perceived as calculated appearances. Sometimes in hip-hop, alignment speaks louder than statements. For a few weeks after that, things went quiet.
Both sides appeared focused on their own lanes, and fans assumed the situation would fade out like most online disagreements. But that calm didn't last. Pooh Shiesty later posted another Instagram story that completely shifted the narrative. This time, instead of distancing himself from the streets, he wrote, "I am the streets." The message directly contradicted his earlier post and leaned heavily back into his established image. The visuals and music attached reinforced that identity, making it clear he wasn't stepping away after all. To many observers, this looked like a response to pressure, whether internal, external, or reputational. When an artist strongly tied to street credibility hints at changing direction, it can create confusion among supporters and critics alike. Posting "I am the streets" seemed like a way to reassert his stance, reassure his circle, and shut down any narrative that he was softening his image. At the same time, to outsiders, it created the appearance of inconsistency, flipping positions within a short span. And in hip-hop culture, perception matters just as much as intention. But Blueface was paying attention, and he wasn't about to let that moment pass. As soon as he noticed the post, he took to Twitter and wrote, "Nah, dog, we seen what you said already. The streets, traumatized, buddy." The message landed as a clear shot on several levels. Blueface appeared to be calling Pooh Shiesty inconsistent, suggesting he wasn't fully standing on his earlier statement. The word traumatized stood out the most because many interpreted it as implying hesitation or uncertainty tied to street pressure. For an artist whose image has long been built around toughness and confidence, that kind of wording hits hard. It indirectly questioned his mindset, his authority, and his authenticity in a single phrase.
The tweet spread fast, with fans and other artists reacting almost immediately. Some agreed with Blueface, saying he was pointing out a contradiction, while others felt he was unnecessarily stirring tension. What many people missed, though, was that this wasn't being viewed as ordinary rap banter. To some observers, it looked more like deeper, street-related tension unfolding publicly. The post also made it clear that Blueface had been following Pooh Shiesty's moves closely. He remembered the original "forget the streets" sentiment, saw the shift to "I am the streets," and chose to highlight that change in front of everyone. By calling it out openly, Blueface made it difficult for the situation to be brushed off the way earlier online remarks had been. Now, this is where things become more serious in perception. Pooh Shiesty hasn't responded publicly to the tweet, but in street culture, silence is often read in different ways. Some people believe it can mean conversations are happening privately rather than online. Pooh Shiesty isn't widely seen as someone simply playing a role for music promotion. He's often associated with real-life connections in Memphis, a city frequently discussed for its long-standing street issues. He's also linked to a large circle of affiliates who are known to take reputation seriously. Because of that, many viewers feel that publicly questioning his resolve or leadership carries weight beyond social media commentary. In environments like that, reputation matters. When someone's credibility is questioned in front of millions, especially using language that hints at weakness or instability, it can't easily be ignored without consequences to image. What adds more tension is that both artists are believed to have strong connections in their respective regions. Blueface, though based in California, has repeatedly shown he's not quick to back down from confrontation. He's built a reputation for standing by his statements, regardless of backlash. On the other side, Pooh Shiesty is viewed as having strong loyalty from his circle, particularly when it comes to protecting respect and image. There have been online whispers suggesting movement behind the scenes, but it's important to be clear, nothing has been confirmed. Any talk of threats or financial incentives is strictly speculation, and neither camp has addressed those claims publicly. Still, history has shown that when high-profile figures with street credibility clash online, situations can escalate beyond words if cooler heads don't prevail.
Many fans find this especially concerning because similar public disputes in the past have ended in real-world consequences. What makes this moment stand out is how it contrasts with its original intention. The conversation began with 21 Savage encouraging artists to distance themselves from street life. Instead, that discussion appears to have placed two figures with strong street associations at odds. There's a certain irony in that. A message meant to promote growth and safety may have unintentionally triggered pressure and internal conflict. Pooh Shiesty's shift in messaging, from rejecting the streets to embracing that identity, can be seen by some as a response to expectations from those around him. When someone in a leadership position speaks about leaving that life, it can be interpreted by others as abandonment, even if the intention is personal growth. That shift, however, gave Blueface an opening to question consistency, and once that happened publicly, neither side could easily step back without risking how they're perceived. Blueface walking back his words could be seen as weakness by his supporters, while Pooh Shiesty ignoring the comment entirely could raise questions within his own circle. Situations like this are exactly what have caused serious problems in hip-hop before, when pride and reputation start outweighing logic and long-term goals. Fans and industry observers are now watching closely, hoping the situation doesn't move beyond social media. But experience shows that public disputes involving real-world affiliations don't always stay online. That's why so many people are concerned. Both artists have proven talent in clear paths to success without getting pulled into street-centered conflicts. Pooh Shiesty has built momentum with hit records and a growing audience. Blueface has consistently found ways to stay relevant and generate attention in a crowded industry. This moment reflects the reason 21 Savage made his original statement in the first place. Street mentality often demands constant validation and response while offering little in return. Careers, opportunities, and futures can be damaged quickly once pride takes control. For now, all anyone can do is watch and hope both sides recognize how much they stand to lose if this continues, because when street reputation and public pressure collide, the outcome is rarely positive. And history has proven that time and time again.